What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Why Are We Here? I'm your host, Spencer Crandall. This week's episode is Tyler Rich. He is a longtime friend of mine. I call him my Nashville dad. We get into it in the episode. Tyler is one of my favorite people in Nashville. He is absolutely crushing it. We get into a whole lot of different stuff. Our journey and how we met, his music and how he got influenced in country music and how he found country music and why country music for him. It's a great conversation. I think you're going to love it. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't, wherever you listen or on YouTube, and get into the episode. This is Tyler Rich.
Why are we here?
Howdy, partner.
You look like Mr. Incredible had sex with Woody from Toy Story and made Spencer Crandall in front of me.
I've never been more or felt more complimented and insulted in the same sentence in my life.
Just never felt more typecasted, you know?
I'll never outlive this casting. Okay, we're going to do the hat switch and then we can ever see my hairline.
Oh,
never been seen.
Nice. Yeah.
Tyler Rich.
That's not true.
Yeah, no, it's not true at all. I as a younger man was ashamed of the spot that is formed here. And then you're like, you know what? I can't change it.
Hey.
I take keeps.
Yeah.
You know, this is an ad for keeps, but I do take keeps.
But if it was an ad for Keeps, would you recommend it?
Yeah, it's held well. I appreciate the good people at Keeps. And I appreciate hats, the invention of hats. Remember in the old days, like, where it was frowned upon to wear hats?
Hats are great.
Hats, I mean, it's my whole thing.
It still is frowned upon to wear
By
hats.
who?
I don't know, man. I went to Ruth Chris the other night. They told me to take my hat off. I was like, this is Ruth Chris. This is not, it's a nice restaurant, but this is not like the opera. This is a corporation that sells the same thing in every, anyways.
Yeah, I'm super grateful for hats. And I feel like you and I are both baseball hat guys. We're not like cowboy hat guys, though. There's two guys in this town.
Yeah.
You got your Dustin Lynches, your Justin Moores. You got your, like, Travis Dennings with the Simple Bass Pro. You and I have some.
Is there other Travis Dennings? Because I'm pretty sure only Travis wears the Bass Pro. And I think at
you know
this
what?
point, if
Dylan
anybody,
Brady's a big Bass Pro guy.
yeah.
Wears that, but it is kind of his thing.
he's
Travis
made it his
Denning.
thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a cowboy hat guy if I'm not on stage, like drinking backstage,
Really?
chilling, that kind of shit. Like throw like cowboy hat on, camping, that kind of stuff.
Camping's fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But on stage, I feel like I jump around like an idiot too much. I'd be freaking out that it'd fall off.
We'd have to, like, find some sort of Velcro system to the head. I do wonder about that for a guy like Dustin Lynch. Like, he goes hard on stage. How does that stay on his noggin?
I think it's suction cupped to his head. I think it's one size too small, and I think he stretches it and pulls it down and
Suck
lets
out
go.
all the air.
That would hurt. Also, that's not true.
No, I think we should start a pretty vicious rumor about Dustin Lynch suction cupping his hat to his
Oh,
head.
Tyler's toured with Dustin. Maybe that's a factual story. What has Tyler seen backstage?
That'll be the headline for this: is Tyler Rich exposes Dustin Lynch.
Suction cup cowboy hats.
Suction cup cowboy.
Speaking of suction cup cowboy hats, that was what you just had on.
Yeah, it's my grandpa's, and he must have just had a very small head. I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't. Some genetics changed where I don't have that head. I have a large noggin. Yeah.
People with large heads are the most successful people in the world.
Is that true? Is that science, or are you just?
I don't
you have a large
necessarily
head?
know if it's lab created, but it's for sure like a something I've heard over the years.
Okay.
They just say that a lot of actors, like movie stars, have really big heads.
I'll buy it.
Figuratively and literally.
Head.
Figuratively and
Yeah,
literally.
I definitely believe the figurative
really big
side of
heads.
it.
Yeah, apparently Ben Affleck's head is huge.
Well, he's successful and handsome
And Batman.
and Batman. It's
pretty cool.
That's the triple whammy.
Yeah.
Right there. You look like Ben Affleck, and I'm sure you've gotten that your entire life.
I'll take his compliment. Thank
That's
you.
a huge compliment.
Yeah, since I was 16, man,
It's
everywhere
better
I
than
go.
Toy Story
meets
Woody,
Mr. Incredible.
incest child. Yeah.
Hey, those are both the stars of the show, right?
Yeah, but when you mix them
So,
together, it doesn't look great.
you get 2 stars of a one-man show.
You got a
Anyways,
friend in me.
yeah, Ben Affleck since I was a little kid.
Since you were a kid?
No, it's since 16, but I'm so old now that that's considered a kid. When I was 16, I think it was like, I know you've never heard of this movie, but it's called Dogma, right?
Yeah, I've never
great
heard of it.
movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. And
A young
that
Ben
was
and
out
Matt?
when I was probably like 18, I guess, maybe. And people were like, oh my God, you look like Welcome to Bank of America. You look just like Ben Affleck. I'm like, cool, I think. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. And then, and then he became like Ben Affleck, right? And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll take it.
That's nice. It's good to have a celebrity lookalike that's super famous. And
Who's yours? That's not a cartoon.
people said JJ Watt, which I'll take. He's, again, a very handsome, athletic human. Mostly cartoon characters. Mr. Incredible is a big one.
I've never gotten a cartoon
Any
character.
large-chested, jawed, and then slightly bald blonde men. So fill in the blanks. Johnny Bravo, but with less hair. I'm trying to think. Who's the baseball player? Mike Trout.
You said anybody that's big-chested and jawed.
Yeah, I got
Big jawed or just anybody jawed.
anybody who looks like they have some pit bull genetics in there.
Mr. Worldwide?
Mr. Worldwide. If you could, would you rather collab? Yes. With, I'm going to give you the top 3, in my opinion, of the Latinx pop crossover stuff. Pitbull, Shakira, or Ricky Martin.
Shakira.
Yeah.
For many reasons.
For a whole lot of reasons. After that Super Bowl performance, not that I was ever off the Shakira train, but I was just really bought another ticket on that train.
Bought a season pass. You bought a railway season pass ticket on that train. 100%. And, multiple reasons. You want the reasons?
Sure, hit it.
I bought a seat on the train right next to you.
Correct.
For the
We're on the
visual
Shakira train.
visual reference. Music video would be fire, obviously.
Yo.
100%.
You'd have to dance in that music video.
I will learn to dance for Shakira.
Have you ever danced, you have any dancing training? You've never danced in a music video?
I danced at my wedding, but it was a choreographed first dance.
Was it?
Yeah. And that
How at your
was,
wedding? And I didn't.
feel that way.
It was a dance. Sabina looked great.
If you watch it again, there's little steps and little moves and perfectly timed little twirls and pickups and stuff. But it was a big crowd around and it wasn't lifted or anything. It was on the grass. So
What
I'm
was
not
the,
sure you could see the
style of dance?
choreography. Badass. I don't know
Hey
the
guys,
style.
welcome to dance class. Today we're learning badass dance. That's what the teacher said.
Our friend Joy choreographs music video dances.
I see her on
and
Instagram.
You know Joy. Yeah.
Well, I
And
don't know her, but I know of her.
award show dances and that kind of stuff. And so she took what our first dance song was and turned it into a dance and taught us how to do it.
That's very sweet.
Never once did I ask what is the style, just because felt kind of like we were making our own,
Yeah. It's just
It's
it's a fugazi. It's a fugazi.
it's
It's very dust. I would like to get into,
Very
for
dust.
people who don't know how we know each other, our little meeting story. I call you my Nashville dad because you're my Nashville dad.
Yes.
I love you and I appreciate you. And
But your dad is here now.
My dad is in Nashville now, so that is confusing. Today I was like, hey, I'm going to go grab my dad. And then everybody here at the podcast was like, oh, cool, Rusty's going to be walking in. And I walked in with you, and they were all very confused.
Yep.
But you are my Nashville dad, and I now have just a dad in Nashville. So that's that is the difference.
It's slightly confusing, but not really at all.
No, it's great. So you're my Nashville dad.
Yeah.
Because I first started taking trips to Nashville. Imagine a young Spencer. It's January 2016.
So long
I'm
ago.
on my first trip. I know. Isn't that crazy?
So long ago.
I'm on my first trip to Nashville, and I go to Whiskey Jam. And I ran into you, or I saw you across the room. I don't remember how this all went down, but I do remember you, in some sense, being like, hey, I know who you are. Seen you on Instagram, and you said, you don't suck.
Yeah, I had just seen your video that morning. Somebody had shared a video of you doing a cover song of some sort, and I remember watching it and being like, "Oh, this guy's cool," and I was like, "Oh, he lives in Colorado." And then I saw you in Nashville, and I was like, "Holy shit, you don't suck."
So we're star-crossed lovers. This was meant to be.
Basically, like two shooting stars collided
In the night.
at Whiskey Jam.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy.
If it was in
I
the
had,
day, no one would have ever seen it.
I had seen you just as a fan. I went to, was
Fillmore.
it the Hell of a Night tour?
At the Fillmore.
Yeah, where it was Dustin Lynch, Chris Lane, and then you.
Yeah.
And I was just there as a country music fan. You opened, I was like, dang, this guy's incredible. I went up to you. You gave me the hey man, yeah, thanks for coming out, Nux and stuff, which is totally fine. You didn't know me. And then it's crazy. So then to go from that to running into you at Whiskey Jam and being like, hey, I remember this guy from the Fillmore, super talented. I don't even remember then, like, I got your number, we hung out some more. And I think I texted you, I lied to you and said, hey, I see you're playing some shows in LA. I'm going to be in LA for Easter. I have family out there. I didn't. But you were like, sure, if you want to hump in these shows, like, I can't pay you anything, but come on out and, like, hang with us.
Yeah.
So you gave me, like, a 20-minute acoustic set. So I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I have to buy this plane ticket for Easter weekend. She's like, we have Easter plans. I'm like, cancel the Easter plans. We're going to LA. I'm opening up for Tyler. So we did that, and those were the first shows I'd ever played.
Ever? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. That's the first anything. I mean, besides, like, bar gigs in my college town or, like, tailgates for fraternities, that was the first ticketed show where people spent their money to come to a concert.
Yeah.
At, like, the Lost Room and the Lyric. Like, I'll always remember these places.
Back-to-back shows at the same day.
You and Ryan.
Yeah.
So I lied to you.
I love that you lied to me. And that's such a good trick. Put yourself readily available. Because especially like me at that level, I mean, I couldn't pay an opener, like, at all.
And that it was kind of my move after that, because I was like, oh, this works, because nobody wants to pay somebody to open for them. But, like, I had enough social media where it was like, if we have the 20-minute slot, let's throw them on.
Might as well.
So then we became actual friends, which is great. Then we ended up living next to each other for what became like 3 years. I'm in an apartment complex. We had a bunch of people move in there. It was like friends. It was super fun.
It was very much like friends. It was, and I remember that was right when Rick was moving from New York. And I was
You introduced me to my older
Yeah.
mate, Rick.
And I was like, Spencer, you got to be in Nashville. Rick's coming. You guys should just move in next door to me.
You were like, there's literally an apartment that shares a wall with me and Andrew.
Yeah.
And we did. We moved in there.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Super Bowl parties, all of it. It's good. Good years.
Lots of Abby walks.
Very much friends. Yeah, you were Abby's full-time uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still feel that way. She hasn't called. I feel slightly slighted.
She misses you. She's old.
She sends her love.
Yeah, she sends her love.
But I look back at that time very fondly, because it was my first, time in Nashville. And then I did the same trick. You had a barbecue or something, and you had Chris Lane showed up, and we got to talking. And same thing. I looked at his Instagram like that
You
day.
did the same trick.
I was like, dude, you're playing a show in Denver. I'm going to be in Denver already. If you need an acoustic open, we'll do it for free. He's like, sure, it doesn't matter, whatever. So we got to hop on that show, and then he invited us on that tour with him and Morgan for that fall.
I remember
Morgan
that.
Wallen. So
Wow.
because of you, I really did get, I really feel like I owe just a large public thank you to my Nashville dad for saying I don't suck at Whiskey Jam, for helping me find a roommate. This is just my big, just hug to you in the
love it.
universe.
So
You're one of those people.
I am your Nashville dad.
You are. This is why you were my Nashville dad. I would never be where I am today.
Like, I took
without
you
the
to T-ball.
guidance. Yeah, which was the shows in LA.
Yeah, T-ball was the shows in LA, and then I brought over a scout from another team who took you on like pee-wee ball.
Like a college
you're playing
recruiting trip.
football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing it.
And now you're just all grown up. That's amazing. What a cool story. I love that you flipped it on Chris at my house.
Yeah.
That's even cooler. Especially because you never told me. You just kept that little trick in your back pocket. I'm going to use it a lot.
I mean, it worked. I don't know if at your level you can afford to do it for free, because I've seen your show and it's incredible, and you have a lot of band guys that you have to pay.
But thank you. I can say, hey, dude, I'm already going to be out there. So give me the opening slot with the money.
That's
so
true.
My band
The
and I
already
can
being
all
out
come
there,
out.
yeah.
We're already going to be there is the trick I need.
Correct. Dude, I see that you're going to be there. We're already there if you need us. And then the thing is, like, we'll do like a 20-minute set, and just, with the socials and everything, we bring some people out.
Hey, dude, guys, Tyler said he's actually already going to be in Maine that week.
He's going to be in South Africa. So it's like, it just works
it
out.
just makes perfect sense. He can do the entire African tour with us.
But when I met you, you didn't have a record deal. You had like one EP out, like the single Radio, I think. It was a long time ago, and you didn't have a deal. So now we're friends. We're going to backtrack a little bit. We're friends, and we're at the Ryman. Do you remember this? And you were like talking to labels, and we were like, we saw James Bay there.
Bay.
Yeah.
Mandate
at James Bay.
Yeah.
We saw James Bay. We went outside for some sort of intermission or between the opener and James Bay. And you had gotten some sort of email and you just started venting. You were like, this town can be so difficult and I just don't know if I'm doing the right thing and blah, 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 blah. And it was like right before you got your deal and all this stuff. And then a year later, I saw you at the Ryman
Performing
performing.
with Justin Moore.
That's crazy.
Cool.
Isn't that
I
wild?
wonder what I was so pissed off about.
It was just some sort of like you were talking to somebody and they like kind of backed out or something. Because again, it was pre-deal. You had a lot going on.
I remember.
You were on the Hell of a Night tour, and it felt like stuff was going.
Yeah.
And you're like, I just can't believe this isn't happening, or like I just feel like I'm working so hard, but for some reason we aren't getting these opportunities. And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
you're so talented. You know, you have me to thank now, dude. You're so talented. Just hang in there. Like, it's going to happen. It felt like a month later or something crazy like that. You're like, hey, I'm not stressed anymore, and I signed this dope deal, and now I'm on the radio stuff.
If only it happened that fast. I mean, I think that's still like a weekly occurrence, except for I don't vent to you anymore on dates to go see James Bay. I vent to
now have a wife.
Sabina about it. But I guess that's everything, right? I mean, in our industry, everything is like high risk, high reward, and you get, 90 no's for every 5 yeses, and so it's, I feel like that makes sense that I would have been venting. I vent once a week about something going on.
And we all vent, and this is what
celebrate
this is
something
for,
else.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what is your relationship? Because you kind of came to Nashville and into the industry in a time when like it's kind of like pre-TikTok. The internet was a thing, but not like as important of a thing as it is now. Then COVID happened. What's your relationship with like TikTok, social media, this kind of new way of putting out music?
Yeah. I mean, TikTok for sure. I mean, I would call you you call me dad, I call you the TikTok king. I mean, you taught me so many like, little things.
That's my crown, baby.
That's your crown.
That tiny little cowboy.
Yeah. That's
Thank you.
We all got stuck in a situation where we're so used to, I mean, we write so many freaking songs every week, all week. And when you're on the road, I can tell the guys like, hey, this song is killer. Let's do this live and see if it works. And then you get to play these shows and you see, oh, hey, Georgia clapped like crazy after that song. Let's play it again tomorrow night. And you can test it in front of crowds over and over again until you realize it either sucks or you should keep it. But when we're stuck at home for a year and a half, we can't test songs out anymore. And I got so used to Instagram and all these things, but then realizing through you and other people that like TikTok was a whole different demographic of people that aren't even on Instagram. And
Crazy.
Even the people that are on both, what I've realized is that the exposure is infinite on TikTok, whereas in the exposure on Instagram is really just your following and maybe some on an explore page, whereas in TikTok really is this infinite sea of people that can discover you because you end up in people's feed as they're scrolling.
Yeah.
And it once I finally dove in and like stopped being like shy and bashful about TikTok and started making the videos I hate making all the time.
I feel like that's if we ever vent to each other, it's like, oh, TikTok.
Well, it takes so much time.
And it's
And
the
then-
editing.
the editing.
It's your little
Meticulous. Oh. And then when they don't work and you're just like, defeated.
spent 2 hours lining up these clips in the caption and it gets watched 200 times.
Yeah.
And of course, it's like the one thing that you hop on, you take a one take with your wife and it gets watched like 1 million times. Which I feel like has been your secret sauce.
The one that blew my thing up to start was well, what you told me. Treat it like Instagram stories and just post anything, even if it sucks and it's 10 seconds long, just post it.
Yeah.
And so I posted Sabina just dancing alone. We were at the Super Bowl.
That's right.
And we're at the family 49er pregame party thing. And she's by the bar alone dancing to Drake. Hey, just
She's
being
like dropping it low.
being Sabina, and I posted it and I just put, bring your wife to the Super Bowl, they said. # leave her wild. And it got like 4 million hits in a few days.
Literally your first video.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think I did like 3 videos before that.
I think you texted me like, is this how TikTok works? And I was like, no.
No.
Please don't have this be your bar for success because you'll be very sad.
Oh, and then it was so long before another one hit. But then when they hit, like your endorphins are screaming and you're just like, oh my God, I love TikTok. And then you spend 2 months like, I hate
app sucks.
everything.
But it's worked, especially for your original music. I feel like, especially with your new single, better than you used to, like you have had this kind of string of success where, and this is what's crazy about the industry now. And that's kind of why I asked that question is like, I think people at first were like, this is an app where little kids are dancing or doing skits. And now it's like, your song probably doesn't go to radio, or your team isn't like as excited if it's not on that viral chart as long as it is, if it's not getting viewed millions of times, if there's not 20,000 comments saying, we want to come see this live. Like, it's a story now that you can tell radio, your label, your fans. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it was especially like teasing better than you're used to. You know, the current single. I think you just said that, but it blowing up and doing everything it did was exciting, and then it's also nerve-wracking because then all of a sudden the label's like, yeah, we got to put this out right away. But then I'm like, how do I go back and get those 4 million people to make sure that make sure
Come
they
back and
see
listen
it
and
again,
stream.
you know? And so you put it out and you're just like, okay, let's hope for the best. But what it does tell you is that that teaser that you posted got so much traction because the song is worth that much traction. And so regardless of whether I put it out and it takes a day, a week, a month, or 2 months before people start to all of a sudden hear that song again and realize I love the song, it at least gives you that like foot in the door that you know you're in the right room of like, this should be what comes out next because it's good enough to pop even when it's not released yet. And then like, I remember you hit me up that day, like 4 weeks after it came out, and it was doing well, you know, but it wasn't doing 4 million on TikTok well, you know, but it was growing fast. And then you're like, dude, you're on the viral 50 all
That's
genre.
right. I told you that.
You told me that.
Because I was looking for another song I saw on TikTok. I was like, oh, that's got to be on the viral chart. And I'm scrolling like, oh, sick. Tyler's on here. So I just sent it to you.
Yeah. You're like, yo, dude, you're on the viral 50 all genre chart. And then I was like, oh, cool. This will last. Because Leave Her Wild was on that when it first came out a couple of years ago. And it was on there for, I think, like a week or something. And then, or maybe 4 days, I don't know. But I was just like, oh, this will be quick. But I was like, this is really cool. Let me screenshot while I can, you know? And then all of a sudden it's like a week later, jumping Justin Bieber. A week later, all the way up to like 20, jumping Cardi B, jumping Saweetie. She's my best friend. She's a real bad bitch, got her own money. It's such a great song, right?
But you jumped it.
But if you say that, she my best friend, anybody in the room's gonna be like, she's a real bad bitch. And they're gonna dance, right? Because that song is viral as shit because of TikTok. And we jumped it. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
The power of TikTok.
The power of TikTok. And it and even at that point, it was like, what video on TikTok is making it do this? Because there wasn't anything that was popping that week, you know, but it was just a collection. It was a cumulative effort of TikTok and then Reels, because Instagram now you can get new.
Dude, your Reels have been popping. I checked your Instagram today. I'm like, his Reel game is so strong.
Thanks, man.
You're so welcome.
I'll take it back to the TikTok king. Because if you never told me what to do with TikTok, I would have never done this stuff that then I recirculate and just reuse over on the Reels.
All I want is when Better Than You Used To goes number one. I want a plaque. And it doesn't say like certified, blah, blah, blah. It's just me with like a little engraving of the tiny cowboy hat on my big jawed face. And just, apparently now it's TikTok king.
Yeah.
And then I'll have that forever. I don't need a number one at that point. I will retire.
Presented to the TikTok king. At that point, hopefully, like my TikTok's just popping and you can be the TikTok prince.
I'll be the TikTok queen. Oh, you're right. Sabina's I keep forgetting Sabina's in your life. I feel very threatened by that.
Prince.
Yeah, I'll be the prince.
I feel very threatened by that. But yeah, it's doing great. It's officially at actual country radio now, which is cool.
It is. That's huge.
It's we needed it. It's the light of coming out of a dark freaking COVID tunnel.
I feel like your COVID story, it's kind of beautiful that this is like the end of COVID and this is what's coming out of it. Because I feel like everybody got hit so hard, especially you. I mean, I know your band, I know your team. Like, you guys work so hard and you kill it on the road. Your live show. I was thinking about this on the way, and I'm like, I think I've seen you the most out of any artist in my life.
Probably.
Because I've opened up for you. I've been on the road with you. There's a lot of times where like we would just go, like Rick and I, like Louisville, or just hang out or whatever. So I've seen your show so many times. Yeah. I've probably been to, arguably top 5 most Tyler Rich shows in the world. So
for sure not more than Taylor or Crystal.
Yeah. I said top 5 for that reason. I caught myself.
Just have to shout them out.
Shout out Taylor.
T Rich Life. They're the best.
But I've seen your live show, and that was such a huge part of building your story. Obviously, COVID takes that away. But I feel like you had such a really cool story where like you came out and you made the best of it with TikTok, with Reels, with, like we were talking before, you learned how to record your own voice. Like, did you record your voice on the country radio single that is out right now?
I did. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we so if you flash back to Friday the 13th, 2020. It's basically the day the world ended, which is kind of crazy if you think about it.
Don't love it.
It was the day that basketball had officially canceled, touring all officially canceled, all genres basically. And we were in Minneapolis on tour with Lanco, and we had unpacked. We were getting ready. We were looking at the stage, and then we got the word, and so we did like 12 hours back to Nashville or however long it is. Sad, defeated, thinking like, oh man, this sucks. Feeling really bad for ourselves and for everybody, and getting on Instagram Live right then and there and and I tweeted or whatever. I was like, hey, for everybody in Minneapolis, I'm going live right now in like, we have all the guitars out acoustic, and we're going to do the exact set we would have played tonight for you guys live on Instagram. And what's funny is Instagram Live was a tool we all had already, but none of us used it. I mean, we used it, but we never used it, right? We didn't use it for what it could be. And so right then I got done. I was like, that went really well. And so we immediately started talking to the team. Why don't we do something weekly that's like the Difference tour, but it's the Distance tour, right?
Oh, that's right. That was awesome. I like watched that as a fan every week. I would like
a TV series.
Yeah, it was great. You guys really did turn on your live gang. Like the Sunday brunch, I think was a guest on. That was really good too. Like
Sunday brunch was Tuesdays was Tyler and friends sing behind the scene, and I would bring on songwriters, and they would tell a story, play a hit they wrote, and then I would play a song that we had written together. And then I would cover one of their other hits that they wrote for somebody else.
Sweet.
And then they would close with one of their other hits. So it was a 4-song thing, and just catch up with a songwriter.
Yeah.
And then Fridays, it was right when my song Feels Like Home was coming out. So we did Feels Like Home, couch series, playing songs, blah, blah. And then Sunday, Leave Her Wild Sunday brunch. Just getting hammered with my wife, wishing that we were on a rooftop somewhere on Sunday, drinking like mimosas and Bloody Marys and all that stuff. And we treated it like a talk show, like it was a variety show. We started with What's Good, which was What's Good, and it was good news for the week because everybody was so sad.
Yeah.
And then we would bring
for a
on
time, like I know that kind of sounds like yeah. Like that was needed. Like you had to start everything like, hey everybody, we're gonna be all right.
crazy, right? And then we'd bring on a guest that somebody else in entertainment or sports or whoever, and challenge them to a drinking game for. We did that trivia drinking game crap, and every time you lost a question, you had to take a shot. And then we'd have a musical guest at the end, just like closing a talk show. And it was fun, man. What a cool, it sucks when, like when you were in it and all that stuff, but what like a cool snapshot of all of our lives.
Yeah.
Of like, just how we had to adapt and how we had to like, and I can't talk about it yet. I'll tell you as soon as we shut these pretty little mics off about something cool that's happening between Sabina and I because of those Sunday brunches.
Really?
And just like that. And then so many things, like you were talking about me recording, right? So.
Right.
The label and ultimately it started with me doing Zooms, writing sessions like we all did, except for I'm in Nashville or LA and everybody's in Nashville. So I bought a mic, got a recording system, and figured out how to just record my vocal so I could send it to Nashville and so that they could mix it into a demo without me having to spend any money every week and whatnot. And so once I got that down, then we decided, okay, cool, we're gonna do a couple new songs. And we decided, we're actually gonna finish the album. It's gonna be 4 new songs. And so Lindsay's producing them and then sends me the tracks, the files. And then at home in LA, I recorded the vocals for the album. And then
that's crazy.
Sent them back to him. And then same thing with Better Than You're Used To. Like I did it from home and can't wait to not do it all from home. But it's also created this little like almost dependency of it. Like there's nothing easier and more relaxing. And like, I feel like I will forever get the best vocals at my house, taking my time, just like, nobody staring at me, nobody be like press and stop, press and record. And it's just one of those things that like, I don't know, you can do as many takes as you want. You could do 2, whatever it is that makes it like the perfect feeling.
It? Come back in an hour, go eat some food, take a nap. That's super freeing. And
you get to like live with it, right? Especially with demos now, like when we're writing songs every week, you write a song and the melodies are so new and they're so fresh. And like you just got done writing a song for 4 hours and you have, I don't know, 25 different melodies in your head because of the different ways you were changing it and all that stuff. And then you're like, okay, cool, let's record it. And I would much rather just like listen to an iPhone demo, a voice note for a week, live with it, really hone in on exactly what I want to do and how it should be and whatever, tweak it if needed.
Yeah.
And then track it. But I don't know, it's between that and like so many things, I think so many things of the industry and how everything works is going to change.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think, obviously the live space is interesting because you have things like live streams now. I think a lot of people had to learn to like be a little bit more flexible you had to learn like nobody wanted to Zoom right, and all of a sudden, like, well, you want to write songs? You're writing on Zoom.
Yeah.
I do think it's gonna, allow a lot of people to not have to be in town all the time, which I think is a blessing. Like the fact that I could go on a vacation or whatever and take that day instead of it being a travel day that I just lose out on, I could write in the morning. Like that kind of stuff is really interesting. I think that's gonna be nice.
It's amazing
for the future.
It's the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we even like with Sab, she with acting and everything, all auditions are self-tape, and they still are for probably the rest of the year. And it's like, is that going to change?
Does she like that, or is that
She hates it.
she hates
Well, she
it?
also has to like pay for it every time. You have to get like professional gear and like a coach to like
It's
shoot
not
with
just like
you and
iPhone?
stuff. And no. It's I
like
mean, if
next
you want to get
level.
the role, it's not.
Sure.
And so
If you want to be good,
yeah,
no.
but as soon as you get a call back, you've made it to the next round. They were doing interviews and like auditions in person. But so that's why like us getting rid of the LA apartment, because we're like, why would we waste money to be there for a year when we don't technically have to be there?
Right.
So she is sad in Nashville.
Yeah. How is Sabina doing? She's one of my favorite humans in the world.
She's great.
Your wife. She's just like sunshine. She just walks in a room and she's very magnetic. Like people, she'll be at a bar and someone will just be like, "Who are you? Where did you come from?" She's just so nice and so sweet.
Very magnetic. It's very sweet. Yeah. I mean, that's what, obviously, since the day I met her, that was what sucked me in. And she
Stagecoach, right? You guys met at Stagecoach?
She is like a light in every room. But she's doing great. She's got a film coming out. It's debuting at the Tribeca Film Festival next week.
It's amazing.
2 weeks. It's a horror movie. Well, it's like a psychological thriller.
Is that your dream? That she becomes like the number one? Because you're a horror fanatic.
I've got 2 dreams. And one is that she's like in a massive horror movie. And then number 2 is I get to die in a horror movie. Doesn't that sound awesome?
That does sound really fun. The thought of like being a main character and watching myself get haunted, not for me.
Not so much.
And she's a pro actor, so I'm sure she would kill it. But I would love to get killed. That'd be a fun day on set, just to 20 takes. Like,
random little cameo, right? Like that. Some people
Yeah.
might be like, "Oh, cool, hey, that was Tyler Rich," not in Tiger King,
especially if, dude, yeah,
the worst.
I remember, yeah. I feel like if I was gonna die in a horror movie, I want it to be like I either like explode or I get chainsawed in half, because you're not gonna do that multiple times in your life.
Yeah.
You want the really big moment of
100%.
like blow me up or something like Saw, where it's just gory and one and done.
I mean, Saw would be pretty intense. You gotta sit there and get tortured for like a long time. Wasn't Justin Bieber, didn't he get killed in a CSI episode like a decade ago? I remember there being so much hype about it, and then it was just boring and terrible. So yeah, if I'm gonna die, for all the horror movie directors that are listening
We
to
have
this
a lot,
podcast,
so yeah.
I thought so.
It's the number one place for them.
Kill me.
Please kill me.
No,
How
but
long have?
it's an A24 film. It's called False Positive. It's her and Pierce Brosnan, which is really cool.
No way.
Yeah, James Bond.
I
Dude.
just watched Mamma
Mr.
Mia on
Doubtfire.
Sunday.
Also cool.
Killed it.
But Mrs. Doubtfire, right?
That is very exciting.
You know he's from Ireland?
Yeah,
I never liked
he's
him.
He's not American. He's got a thick accent
Really cool.
and a handsome gentleman.
Handsome gentleman.
That's
Yeah.
very exciting. I'm going to definitely watch that.
It
What's it called one
debuts
more
on,
time?
it just got bought as a Hulu original. False Positive.
Okay. Be on the
Yeah.
lookout for False Positive.
Check it out.
We support Sabina. She is the best. How long have you guys been married now? You got married September 2019?
2019. Yeah, we September 20th, 2019. Yeah, good.
I was there.
Not going to say you have notes in front of you, but nicely done.
Not on my notes. I have many things on these notes. Not
That's
on my
not it.
notes. No.
Yeah, almost 2 years, which is mind blowing.
What has been the most challenging part and what has been your favorite part of marriage? Because that's a very new adventure. That's a different level of commitment in life.
What's crazy is we've always been back and forth between LA and Nashville. We've always been distance with breaks in between. It's all we've ever known, so it was completely fine. But then we got married, and then all of a sudden it was the holidays, and then all of a sudden in January we're in Bali on our honeymoon, and then we get back. I'm on the road with Lanco for a month. Boom, world's over. And so it was those first 4 or 5 months of being married were very sporadic and all over the place and awesome, and honeymoon vibes through the holidays, and then real honeymoon, and then tour and exciting, and then boom, all of a sudden we lived together for the first time in our lives in LA on lockdown for a year, and so
Yeah, I mean, talk about a lifestyle change for you guys.
100%. And so like so many interviews of radio interviews and stuff over COVID, and like, so what's it like actually living with your wife?
Which sounds silly, but for you guys is a different reality
Yeah,
for sure.
and it was the best. You know, it was just us and the dogs, just watching TV shows, Netflix binging for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Because we always like watch movies, but anytime we try to binge watch a show together, it ended up us holding each other accountable to set times to watch while we're apart, and it just was never really worked. But we finally watched some shows together, which was really cool and sweet. We cooked food together and all that stuff all the time, rather than always getting takeout. And so the best part was like getting to know her in a whole different setting, getting to know
Yeah.
like the wife I would actually live with, which was super sweet.
Yeah.
The worst part is consolidating our things. And yeah, she is, and just, I'm OCD about cleanliness and organization, and she's very clean, but she's got like little piles of shit everywhere. And I don't know where they come from. She'll like leave for the day and she'll come back with a bag full of shit. Looks like she went to the penny candy store. I don't know if they had those in Denver, but in California, it's like everything's a penny, you know, and she bought like one of everything, and then she just dumps it and leaves the house.
She reminds me of me in that I have piles, but like they look messy to others. I'm like, no, because that's my blank pile. And like I know what I need to do with that stack of papers, and so I have a similar proclivity. Yeah,
Proclivity is a word.
Yeah.
In her bags that she undumps, there will be like little mini shampoo bottles that she took from the hotel as we were leaving, and then like random business cards from random people that do nails in Kentucky from 3 months ago, and like I don't know, like love her to death, but the piles, man, the piles.
What do you think she would say for you? Best part, hardest part.
Man, I think she would say the hardest part is me yelling about the piles. I'm honored to a fault all the time. I'm pretty hard on her, and I shouldn't be. And I think I'm hard on her when I shouldn't be. I think like she's like doing her best and she's scattered and she's working hard, and then I will like put all the energy in like a mess or something. I would say she probably like really about me though. Like she hates my music, man. Like I like aggressive, like screamo, emo, punk rock, pop rock. Like I love like rock, right? All genres of rock, and anything with distortion and like anything like a little more aggressive than a falsetto.
You both
she's
use the
out of
word
her
aggressive more than anyone I know, and it's because you love it.
Yeah.
She's just like, Tyler, that's very aggressive.
Very aggressive.
We do not need to be that aggressive right now. I remember
goes-
at your party for your wedding, we were on the rooftop, or maybe it was there. Maybe it was at your actual wedding.
Might have been.
Maybe it was the actual wedding. And I remember some song, and she was like, "That's so aggressive."
She's like, you're being a selfish DJ, is what she always calls me.
Selfish DJ.
Yeah. And I think her best part of being married to me is probably the same thing, because like we both just really loved getting to spend like true time together and doing lazy things that people to live together get to finally do.
Right.
And cooking together, recipes. It's so weird to anybody listening to this that's married, because then like I don't understand what he's saying.
Right.
Because like literally we were on the road on the weekends couple for years.
Yeah, and to add context to that, like, you both are chasing a crazy dream. You both have really, really, really big goals, and that comes with a lot of sacrifice. A lot of that was living in different places. So for most people, they're like, I cook with my spouse, or I cook for my spouse, or around my spouse every night.
Yeah.
You guys are like once every 2 weeks. I mean, there was a lot of times when we lived in the same apartment complex, I would be like, when's Sabina coming back? We're like, well, she's got an audition, then I'm going on tour, so it's going to be 5 weeks. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
but it doesn't mean
long.
we weren't going to see each other for 5
Correct.
weeks. It just means that was the next time she was going to be in Nashville.
Correct.
But I was probably going to be in LA for 2 days.
2 days
next
here,
week.
yeah.
And then the next week after that, she was going to come on the road for 5 days. And then the week after that, I was going to go back to LA, and then we were going to have 10 days off. And, but yeah, there was a couple times where she didn't come to Nashville for like 3 months. And a couple times I didn't go to LA for like 3 months. But we still saw each other, you know, meeting in the middle of a party in random cities with awesome strangers.
Well, and that's the name of your album, right? 2,000 Miles, because that's like the distance between LA and Nashville or something like that?
Yeah, roughly LA and Nashville, but from our apartment door that we met and the apartment door at Charlotte, basically it was like 1996 miles or something like
So
that.
you're a liar.
Yeah, I mean, 1,996 miles just didn't roll off
doesn't
the tongue
quite-
quite the same.
2,000 Miles is great. And I love that album. It's
Thanks,
really
man.
great. I feel like every time you put out music, I'm like, oh, that's just a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Like, I feel like you're one of the guys I've known in town who you have like a really great self-awareness and like ability to push yourself really hard. Probably to a fault, like you were talking about with Sabina. Like, you want it. Like, you're the kind of guy who it didn't just like fall in your lap. You're like, no, I've worked my ass off. I've been in bands since I was like 16 or whatever. Like,
Forever.
you've been in the game. You started in like the hardcore rock scene.
It was like indie pop rock, but like the Warped Tour scene. You know, there's all different types of genres that go on Warped Tour, but that whole genre of like indie pop rock, pop punk, into like, multiple bands touring forever. And then mid-20s, stopped, went back to school. When I graduated, decided to be a solo artist. And just me and my guitar, and kind of take it from there and start from scratch and just freaking, But thank you. That's always the goal, man. You always want, the next thing you put out to always be better, and always be. And like every week when I'm writing, I'm just really excited about all the stuff I wrote over COVID. Really excited about the stuff. Even the past couple months, got some really, really cool new stuff that's it's different, and it all just kind of feels like a true chapter 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, and you're one of the few people in town that I can send songs to and get like real feedback. You know, there's like that's great. And then there's like, it just doesn't do it for me. Mm-hmm. I need way more of that just doesn't do it for me. And you're one of my like, in my brain, it's like my wise counsel of like, okay, I have a song that I think is cuttable or cool or whatever. I have that 5 to 10 people. And you make that list because I feel like you've always been super honest with me, which was not a thing when I first moved to town. A lot of people are afraid to tell you like, that's not good or it's not good for me and here's why.
Well, it's egos, and egos get hurt really easy. When we write songs, we put so much into them, and you're always so excited when you get done with the song, and then even like a week later, you can still be super excited. And it might take 4 weeks for you to realize it's just okay. And it's something I hate. I hate getting negative criticism or negative constructive criticism, even though it's necessary. But it's like, what's your love language? And mine is like praise. It's like verbal.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. I've realized that because of music. Because like, if somebody like hits me and goes like, oh my God, this song's a fucking smash, I get so happy for the rest of the day. Whereas like, if somebody says like something verbally to me that's just like, oh yeah, I mean, it didn't really do it for me. Then I'm like, I realize I'm in a funk. And I mean, like, because then, I don't know, it just, you're your worst critic, and then like when somebody confirms also, it's the worst. But we've had so many listening parties when we were neighbors, like, hey, come over, listen to these 15 songs. All right, cool. And we've always like, you've always said like, oh dude, that one is super dope and stands out. And even if I agree or disagree, it's always like, cool, write it down and then play those songs for somebody else. And then they're like, yo, that one. And I'm just like, I don't trust you. Who else is in my phone book?
Or like, what's their bias? Like, are they a writer on the song? Do they love upbeat songs? Like, I love my mom, but the joke is like, I send it to her first and I get the like, I love this, I'm your mom response. Then in a month, I re-show it to her and be like, okay, what do you really think?
Yeah.
Not that I don't love her and trust her, but she has a bias of, she just loves me and loves my music and is invested. Totally. So I'm trying to always find, and you are one of those people that I can really send songs to.
Sweet. I'm gonna crank up the judgment for sure. The critiques.
Do it. I mean, that's part of my like, I want to be great. So that's what it takes. You have to have people telling you like, that's not good or it's close, but try this.
Yeah. Also, I'm only saying I'm going to crank up the critique as a joke because honestly, I don't know anything about a good song or not. I love terrible songs. I'll be like,
what's your favorite terrible song?
No, I don't mean like guilty pleasure songs, but I'll be like, this is a hit song. And then like 2 months later, I'm like, how did I even turn that in? That is so bad.
Time is your best friend when you're a songwriter because there's so many that's why I really don't send songs. Like 2 weeks is even short. I want to like live with something for a month. Do you really crave it? Like, I'm not talking that you like it. Do you crave it? Like it's stuck in your head 4, 5, 6 weeks. Okay, now you have something.
Yeah.
For 6 days, it does not matter.
No. Yeah. I wish my mom was like your mom. Because my mom, well, I played her, I don't know, 10 songs. I was just with her. I just got back from Philly yesterday, and I played her 10 songs, and I think she liked 2 of them. She's so brutally honest. She'll be just like,
But you gotta love it.
No, I
That's
do,
the
but it's
wise
like
counsel.
But then I was like, Mom, you don't get it. You don't understand. You don't get it. Like that one just sounds super pop. I was like, that's the most country song I played of these 10 songs. No, it was super pop. And I was like, there's literally like, it was like rock country. Like it was like driving drums and distorted guitars and felt like Eli Young Band, Brantley Gilbert-ish kind of production, you know? But it was a 2-second falsetto part that made her think the entire song was
that's
a pop
Justin
song.
Timberlake.
Yeah. In her mind.
Yeah.
Love you, Mom.
Love you. Love you. What are your dreams outside of music? You're kind of entrepreneurial in the sense of like you have Rich's Rescues, you have this, is it a nonprofit or like an organization or just like a...
It's just like a mission.
Just like a mission.
As of now. It was, Rich Rescues was, I was wanting to figure out what I could do to put my passion of rescuing animals to work while I'm on the road because...
Do you have 2 rescue dogs? Is Abby a rescue?
Abby is a rescue.
Okay. And then Max.
So we actually lost Max 2 weeks ago.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, we didn't post about it yet. It's just been crushing us. It was just really, really hard. But
fuck, dude.
He was
the
he was
sweetest.
the best. He was the freaking best.
But you guys gave him, I mean, he was what, 17?
Yeah.
You gave him the best 17-year-old dog life that ever existed.
100%. Yeah, but it was like he was so vulnerable and needed us so much that then it became like such a habit of us taking care of him when he got so old that I don't know, almost made us feel like even like harder because he like relied on us for everything. But yeah, so I want to adopt all the dogs in the world, but I can't obviously. So I was like, what can I do with my platform while I'm on the road? And so I was like, why don't we stop at a couple shelters every week at the cities we're in and promote these animals, these dogs and cats. And I mean, some of these places have gerbils. I mean, there's everything, right? Like promote these animals that need homes in these cities. Cause if I'm a fan, and I'll use this as an example because Green Bay was our last show we played. If I'm a fan in Green Bay and I can't come to the show, or if I can, I'm going to look at my favorite artists or my artists I'm going to see that night, their Instagram that day to see what they're doing. Are they going to my favorite diner? Are they going to Lambeau Field? Are they going to my favorite park? Are they going to the mall? Like, what are they doing in my town today? And then when somebody does that, when they're in their city, they're going to see by force a ton of adorable ass dogs that need homes. And so I go and I play with them. I learn about what they're doing for their community, not the dogs, they're just making people happy, but the place, the rescue. And promote that so that people in Green Bay will be like, oh man, I love their mission. I love what they're doing. Not only the dogs that they have.
Well, and dude, then, you almost convinced me like 6 times that I should like drive to this random city and pick
go
up
get a
Coco
dog.
or Pepper. I'm like, this dog is so adorable. So it's working. Like it worked on me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Not enough apparently, but
well, yeah.
Well, but we only got to do it for like 3 weeks before COVID hit. And so, but I would premiere, I guess you would say, I don't know, the special case dogs on my actual page, not my stories. Right. So I would take a picture with the 2 dogs that are sisters that have to be adopted together. I'd take a picture with the dog Turbo that's got 3 legs and is the fastest dog at the shelter, and the 12-year-old senior dog that needs a home, and really push those. And so animal rescues through that is a massive, massive, goal that I'd love to turn into like a really big organization one day. Yeah. But we're just starting from the square root at the bottom.
I love that because it is your heart. I mean, you are such a dog guy. When I think of you, I think of Abby and even your wife with Charlie and Max. Like, you guys are so loving and giving to animals. So I feel like that's a big part of what you want to do outside of music.
Yeah.
Do you have any like mission statements or quotes or like things in your life that you were told when you were younger or like growing up? Like, for example, something that I've kind of boiled my life down to is like create things I love with people I love. I'm like trying to simplify that. And I'm always trying to ask people when they come, because I love hearing like people's perspectives and point of views of like, what is that sentence or just kind of like North Star for you? What does that look like?
Yeah. It all comes from my mom. I mean, there's probably a million well-known and famous quotes and whatnot I could think of that I've been told over the years. But my mom, when she first got me my guitar, or not when she got me my first guitar, but when it was like high school, coming out of high school into college, and I wasn't going to go to like regular school and chase like a regular thing. And she told me, if you're going to chase music, like chase it with every ounce of what you have, like 180,000%. don't even have a plan B. Don't do anything. Like this very specific conversation. And so that was like always my mission statement. That was my mantra was go as hard as I possibly can so that she doesn't ever see that I'm looking the other direction kind of thing.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And she just, I don't know, she just always taught me just like you're in the day that you're in right now. Don't look behind you. Don't look forward. Focus on the relationships and that you're in this moment, the opportunities in every moment. And because, yesterday's already gone and tomorrow's never guaranteed. And just win people over every single day. And
Yeah. Is that hard or easy for you? Like, do you find yourself, I find myself, especially with social media, like comparing, which kind of lead like that future, like, okay, well, I want to be here. And then like, oh, well, I've done this in the past. So I have shame or guilt or like, what's your relationship with that?
social media is hard.
Dude, it's so
Yeah.
hard.
Because you just see extremely talented people all the time getting opportunities that you think that you are more validated to get. And it's the reality. And it's just everybody's super talented, but not everybody is worthy of all the opportunities that they're given. And but at the same time, one thing I always try to remember is that, and we all talk about it all the time, it's just everybody's social media is their highlight reel. And everybody is struggling and put like way more than they put online, and they're all going through their demons and whatnot. And there's people looking at you, there's people looking at me, thinking like, "Damn, why are they getting all this stuff? Why are they doing this? How are they getting these opportunities?" While we're looking at other people, and like realistically, it's all just like a big old friendly competition where we should. I need to 100% more and just enjoy other people's successes as much as I enjoy mine.
That is a very good way to put that. And I struggle with it. I mean, I'm competitive, so I want to like do these big things. I think something I'm pushing myself to like learn or actually learn is like somebody else's success cannot take away from your success.
Yeah.
Like there's this weird thing in the universe where there's just abundance. Like even when it feels like there's scarcity, there's abundance. Like there's more number ones, there's more fans, there's more opening slots to go around than I think we even know. I think we just get so, I think it's because we want it. So that's why I remind myself, like, I'm here because I have this drive, which is good, but don't let that monster's voice outshine like what you've already done, which is also impressive and cool and you should be proud of. It's okay to be proud of. And letting a little healthier transition of those voices in my head. But it's hard.
For
It's really
sure.
hard.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, internet is like incredible for so many things, and it makes it extremely brutal at the same time.
Yeah.
But just try to root for everybody else as much as I root for myself. And
Well, and I think you do a really good job of that. And I'm not just saying that. Like it really is why I'm here, is because I feel like people have done it for you. People like Dustin, Garth. You have really cool people in your life that have kind of taken a step aside and been like, hey, let's shine the spotlight on this guy. And any opportunity you have, you do that for people. I mean, you've done it for me. You've done it for a lot of my friends. And I feel like you're a champion in this town, which is, I think you should be really proud of that, because that's not the norm.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it's nothing that you have to do, but you go out of your way to like, even with your wife and y'all's friends, like somebody made y'all a charcuterie board like 2 weeks ago. And I've seen that thing on your stories a billion times because you love this human and you're putting him on like that. You guys are really good at that, championing humans.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I champion good people that are talented in whatever they're doing, whether they're making charcuterie boards or singing songs. Like you said, I mean, I've been given those opportunities from incredibly successful and kind people that have put a spotlight on me, and I'm forever grateful for it, and just every little share counts, man. You never know who's
It really
watching.
does.
Yeah.
It could be Tyler Rich. That's a pretty nice way to, that's how you sandwich an episode. We started with something.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you. Again, you're my Nashville dad, and I wouldn't be here without you. I love you.
I'm a proud dad.
Proud papa.
Proud papa. Oh my God.
No, man, I love you. I
creepy.
appreciate
Love
you.
man.
I'm looking at my notes. The only thing I didn't hit was that I danced next to Steph Curry at your wedding. That was fun.
Who's better?
Me. No, he's got the moves.
We have footage. I'll find it.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I had so many people like, where are you?
Yeah.
What is happening right now?
That was
cool.
the best.
Yeah.
That's
Your
why
wedding
you
was sick.
That's why you remember the date. On September 20th, 2020, I danced
with
next
Steph
or
Curry.
2019, I danced next to Steph.
I do have video footage. It's not us dancing together, but I think a lot of people did this at this wedding, which I'm
Did
slightly
what you could to
ashamed.
get him in a shot.
It was like, I'm getting the whole wedding. There's Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Cool. The whole wedding's over here. So, yeah. That's all.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was the
Other
only
than
thing we didn't hit.
That was it. I feel like I have what happens when we die, but that's
Oh
a pretty
man,
big one. Part of the show is
coming season 2.
we'll get into that next conversation. But like part of why I started this podcast is to like, it's like, why are we here, you and I, and then like, why are we here in the universe? And
Yeah.
you're a guy who like, did you grow up religious or did you grow up going to church or anything?
A little bit,
A little bit.
off and on, Sunday schools, different churches, but it wasn't like huge. It wasn't an every week thing, but it was for sure part of my life growing up.
Yeah.
And then like my 20s and whatnot was self-choice and, finding places that I liked, that, I was inspired and whatnot. And then I just moved so many times. And then, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's all my notes.
Cool.
We don't know what happens when we die.
No.
I outdanced Steph Curry. Went to the Ryman. You guys had a dope wedding, and you're my Nashville dad. I think that's a perfect place to end the episode. That's the
think that was
classic
a win.
ending.
Oh, Jesus. This is
Thanks,
great.
buddy. I love you.
Love you, man.
All right, that's another episode of Why Are We Here? I'm your host, Spencer Crandall. Thank you so much for listening. If you don't already, make sure to subscribe wherever you listen. And on YouTube, we have an awesome season 1 lineup, so do not miss out on our guests. Here we go. We have a brand new Instagram at Why Are We Here _podcast. Tag us, take a little screenshot and post it on your story. And tag us, let us know what you liked about the episode, who you want on the podcast. And we're going to be doing some reposting and some chatting on the Instagram. Make sure to follow. That's it. That's all we got for you this week. See you again next week. We love you. We appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Why are we here?